Welcome back to Elijah Plus, and what is your thought process on this? Which one should you get? The M2 Mac Mini or the M2 MacBook Air? For me, I've had the M2 MacBook Air for 6 months now, and I love how small, portable, and light it is, especially with a fanless design. I love that even though I'm in college and trying to also grow myself on YouTube, it is a very well-balanced laptop. I can work on video edits and work on my videos on it, and then I can also do basic college needs. For example, when I'm doing sort of high intense video with ProRes and with the pictures and videos that I capture on my iPhone, and then I transfer it to my Mac and it works seamlessly. And so when I go and do my edits, I can have everything look professional and profound the way I like it. But then when it comes to college and I need to get basic assignments done with a couple essays or turning things in and doing office work, it's pretty simple and it's easy to have a format where I can find it in my downloads and turn everything in. Even with consuming content, it's very fast, it's very reliable, and the picture quality is great. The brightness is great when receiving an extra 100 nits of brightness compared to the M1 MacBook Air. Even has MagSafe, even though I've been mainly using it with my studio display, so it's always charged and not really having a use for my MagSafe charger. But once I get my M2 Pro Mac Mini, then that will change, and of course I'll use that more often. It also depends on the workflow of what you're going for. So for me, I am doing college stuff in YouTube, so I would prefer to invest in getting a desktop computer while keeping my MacBook Air, which I've also disclosed in my other video explaining how I didn't want to purchase a $2,000 MacBook Pro because one, that's out of my price range, and I love my MacBook Air, the size, the comfortability, just to hold when need be, and then it's also really light and portable. But I didn't want to just get the base, version of a Mac Mini because I felt like if I have, the same M2 processors, then I'm not really getting the performance that I need. And so with Apple releasing the M2 Pro Mac Mini, I'm going to get that because for what I'm trying to do with faster speeds and make my videos better and things like that. But back to the main focus of specifically the M2 Mac Mini, here's some pros with that. The first pro, the price. Apple has released a more affordable Mac Mini with the starting price of $599, and then with education you can get it for $499. That is an incredible value for such great performance. And then on top of that, it's small, it fits perfectly on a desk, but the downside is you have to buy an external monitor. Now monitors can vary between $400, $500, even $600. Depending on what you get, you may have to be careful because it could get to the price of a MacBook Air that's the M2 or the higher end MacBook Pros. But if you don't plan on doing a lot of computer work that's mobile, like if you're going out making coffee and working at a coffee shop or you're going out to school, then maybe just having a desktop computer is what you need. But I noticed something different when it comes to the M2 MacBook Air and the M2 Mac Mini. I don't think people realize, but the M2 Mac Mini gets more love than the M2 MacBook Air. Let me explain. If we looked at the back of the M2 Mac Mini, you get 2 Thunderbolt cables, that's USB-C, you get an HDMI port, and you also get the Ethernet cord. If you look at a MacBook Air, you only get 2 USB-C ports, and then it's also the MagSafe cable for charging. It has a built-in fan. I think they still kept the fan for the M2 Mac Mini, and the M2 MacBook Air does not have a fan. Now mind you, it still runs great even though it doesn't have a fan, but I guess it would run even better if it still had a fan. If you don't mind not having a built-in display like with the M2 MacBook Air, and you just want to go ahead and get a decently affordable Mac Mini and just get an external display, then go for it. But if you do more portable work and do a lot of movement and you need to travel, having a MacBook Air or having a MacBook in general will be your best bet. It's just really you have to evaluate what you're looking for. Now for me, it's nice to have both, and like I said before, I want to have just, I guess, focusing more on a school computer and then my desk workstation, just because with the M2 MacBook Air that I got the base storage of 256 gigs, but I noticed when I'm editing my videos and getting them more higher and higher quality, The 256 runs up kind of my storage, and I kind of don't want to buy an extended source of having SSD storage, just because that can be kind of expensive. But then again, when you order it online with Apple and have it built in, it's already expensive as it is. So I noticed that as I'm gradually making my videos, I need something that's, you know, more storage that's built in, and that's where the M2 Pro Mac Mini comes in. So when you're going in to get a Mac Mini, I think it will be more affordable for you to go that route when it comes to getting more storage for that M2 Mac Mini than to do it with the M2 MacBook Air. Because with the MacBook Air, you're getting the starting price at $1199 versus $599, and then once you upgrade the storage, I think it's about a $200 spec bump. So you'll be paying like $799 for the Mac Mini versus, you know, closer to $1,300 with the M2 MacBook Air. So I want to hear from you guys. What are your thought processes when it comes to making your decision? Are you going to go ahead and get an M2 Mac Mini, or are you going to get a M2 MacBook Air for 2023? Thank you so much for tuning in to Elijah Plus today, and I'll see you in another video.